on in, come on in. Good evening, come on in. We have a lot to talk about tonight, so come on in. Come on in. Like the video as you come on in. Please participate with tonight's poll. The question is, do you agree with the Supreme Court's ruling on TPS? Do you agree? A lot of people have opinions about the ruling, and yeah, I want everyone to be able to share their opinions tonight and just to, I guess, brainstorm about this ruling and the impact. Make sure my volumes about this ruling and the impact on the U.S. as far as with just everything, the labor force, just how people in general view the country when it comes to racial equality, all the things. There's just, it's very layered. It's very layered. So I want to get into all the things because regardless of whether or not someone supports the ruling or not, the ruling will have a big impact on the economy here in the U.S. Some may argue for the good, some may argue for the bad. So I want to talk about all those things. I want to talk about all those things because when I learned of the ruling, I just started just thinking about just the impact, the impact that it's going to have, the impact it's going to have. So again, you have people who's falling on both sides where it's just like, yay, it's a positive for them. And then there's, many people where it's a negative for them. So like I said, this is not simple. It's a lot to it. And we still have more rulings to come. I think this week, we're still waiting on at least one more ruling. I think they said there's probably about 3 rulings that are still kind of sitting on the side that we're waiting to hear back. I know one of them is birthright. That's like the biggest one, I think, that we're still waiting to hear. And they're saying possibly tomorrow we'll have a ruling on that one. But that's one I was covering on this channel last year, the birthright ruling, argument, whatever you want to call it. I did discuss that quite a bit last year in 2025 on this channel. I was going really hard and heavy on politics last year on this channel. Then I kind of took a break. So come on in. Hello. Like the video. You all come on in, please. Can you all see the poll? Please. Okay, I see you all starting to complete the poll. I'm in my back studio. For some reason, it's acting real janky. Let me see. I can see it now. I'm like, what's going on? I want to make sure y'all can see my poll because y'all know one thing Chic is good for is giving y'all a poll, because I like to do a temperature check to see where y'all at. Y'all don't be fighting in here tonight. It's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. Y'all, please, y'all don't be fighting here, cussing each other out, cussing me out. Listen, we ain't trying to do all that tonight. Most of y'all in here probably ain't Haitian anyway. So we just gonna have a conversation and just talk about what's going on. With the Haitian community, the Syrian community. And so first I want to just talk about the facts. We're going to get that out the way. We just going to start out with laying out the facts. Oh, B. Gobby said, glad you took a break from the politics. It's not a good child. Listen, for my sanity, I had to take a break. I was going hard and heavy in 2025 on the politics. I said, you know what? Y'all not finna damn take me out over these damn Republic red and blue. I ain't a part of the gang. So I took a break. Hey, Don Cotto. Hey, what's up? Long time no see. Listen, we about to get into it. You know how we be getting into it over here, y'all. Make sure y'all complete the poll. I'm going to start out. Like I said, we going straight facts right now. The way we're going to start out with this live, because it's a lot to it. So we're going to get into that first. Just say when with subs to come on and like the video. Yes, please, you all like the video. Like the video. But yeah, we're going to get started. So I want to show you all like what I'm looking at right now, because I just been, like I said, ever since the ruling came about. When this ruling came out, y'all, June 25th, 2026. That was when the ruling came out. So when the ruling came out, me being me, y'all know I get up in my head and I just start thinking about just the impact. Because y'all know last year when we were talking about Trump rounding up illegal immigrants from like the mostly the focus was on like your like the people who came over illegally through the border. So you're going to, I'm saying pretty much the people from like the Hispanic community and stuff, like they were pretty much in heavy conversation and they was just cutting up. They was not here for the removal. And we talked about it. And I remember, just talking about just the impact with the workforce and things like that as a result of the people from the Hispanic community being removed. So that's still a thing, you all. But like this thing has, what's the word I want to use? Exacerbated. Like it's now more people now caught up in it. So the focus this week has been in particular, the Haitians and the Syrian community. The Haitians and the Syrian community. So you all look at my screen. So we're in Google. This is under just an AI overview because it's just a summary of just what the hell popping off because there's a lot going on. So we need to just try to condense this and summarize this so therefore everybody can understand what's going on. So it says the Supreme Court ruled 6-3 in Mullen versus Doe that the judicial branch is barred from reviewing the Department of Homeland Security's DHS decisions to end TPS, which stands for temporary protected status. How many of y'all knew what the T stood for? I don't know. I don't know if everybody always knew. I don't know if folks thought T stood for time, T stood for Timberland. I don't damn know, but it seems like a lot of people just learning the T stand for temporary right now. The ruling allows the administration to terminate TPS designations and strip legal protections and work authorizations from hundreds of thousands of Haitian and Syrian immigrants. Y'all see that? So this was the ruling this week. Fun facts. Let's get into these facts centered around. So facts over feelings, y'all over here. Facts over feelings, y'all. Facts about the ruling. The Judicial Review Bar, Justin Samuel Alito, writing for the majority, ruled that the federal law governing TPS limits courts from hearing lawsuits that challenge the administration's determinations to end the program. Fact. He said that the federal law governing TPS, it limits courts from hearing lawsuits that challenge the administration's determinations to end program. So what he's saying is basically, child, whoever is the leader of the administration, I guess, as far as like from political stance, whoever's sitting in that White House, they got the final say on how they want this show to go. And that is yours truly, President Donald J. Trump. Dismissal of discrimination claims. The court rejected arguments from Haitian TPS holders who claimed the termination was motivated by racial bias, ruling that the simultaneous cancellation of multiple countries provided a race-neutral explanation. So they said, okay, I know y'all pissed off. Y'all think he coming for the people who black, brown, color, whatever, but that the White House have been giving other groups also that work as well. So it is not about race. This is what they're saying, y'all. So we're gonna, this live gonna be, who knows, y'all know over here, we be damn to spend the night over here. We be over here for a little minute when I go live, but we gonna get into some things tonight. So we'll circle back around to, the point about the racial bias. We're gonna come back to that. Impacted populations. The decision directly affects over 350,000 Haitian and 6,000 Syrian immigrants, with broader implications for an estimate of 1.3 million people from 17 designated countries whose status has faced or will face potential terminations. So what I've learned is that this ruling that was specifically centered around the Haitians and the Syrians, it can be applied to other groups of people. For example, like the Venezuelan people. In the past, like Trump was trying to come for them and round them up too. So based off of this ruling, even though it was specific under the Mullen versus Doe, and it was specifically addressing Haitians and Syrians, the ruling is basically saying, okay, if he want to come for people from Venezuela, if he want to come for people from Colombia, whatever, we don't have to go back and rule on it. Basically, this ruling can apply to any country that's dealing with or where people are here under like a TPS type situation. The same, they like, listen, we not discriminating over here. We equal opportunists. So the same ruling we sent down for the Haitians and the Syrians, that is going to be the same ruling for other countries as well, where there's people here in the U.S. who are over here under some type of like a TPS status. You see what I'm saying? So I found that to be interesting. So it's going to be a big fallout. So learning that information just really had me to really think about how serious this is, you all. How many people this is going to affect. It's pretty deep, you all. Work authorizations and deportation risks. With the court injunctions lifted, TPS status and employment authorization documents, EADs, are subject to imminent termination. Affected individuals risk immediate loss of legal employment and face potential detention and deportation to countries with ongoing humanitarian crises. So many people are like, yo, like they still struggling over there. We're going to have to talk about that too tonight, because listen, based on the ruling and how the Trump administration is rolling, they like, listen, we got all kinds of ish popping off over here in the U.S. too, where people are using pew-pews and people doing the absolute most. So the type of activity that's taking place over there, you can find that same activity in a lot of places here in the U.S. Here in the U.S., you can find the same type of crime. We're going to get into that. Wider economic consequences. Business and advocacy groups have warned of severe disruptions, particularly in the elder care, hospitality, and healthcare sectors, where TPS holders make up a significant percentage of workers. Y'all, I didn't know personally that there were like a lot of Haitians were heavy in the medical field like that. I have a sister who used to work in the medical field in a hospital, and she was telling me, she was like, yeah, a lot of the nurses were Haitian. So I was like, word, that was kind of new information to me. So I got to looking up just for where I live in the state of Georgia, in my county, and I learned that where I live, there's a heavy number of Haitians, the Haitian community, they deep in the county where I live. So, I mean, like I said, they're black, brown, their skin color looks like mine. So honestly, you all, when I see somebody who may be Haitian, I can't tell that they're Haitian by looking at them. I'm just saying, listen, I don't know, hell. I don't know. So apparently they're definitely deep within my community. So y'all, it's a lot. So those are the facts right there. Those are the facts. Let's stop and take a pause. Have y'all hit the like button. Let's do that. Let's do some housekeeping. Welcome. Good evening. Happy Sunday. Please come on in. It's 11 of you who's voted. 42 of you in here. Please hit the like button. Like, share, and subscribe. Happy to have you. My name is Chic. Welcome to my channel, Chic Speaks On It. I just pretty much cover just world news, I guess you could say. Politics. If it's popping off in this country, I'm covering it over here if it's newsworthy, in particular if it's centered around politics and things like that. So nice to have you. The Trump administration, let me see what else I wanted to add on this, but how the court got here is really honestly the more interesting fight, because it's just like, how did we get here? Like, as I said, a lot of people are learning that the T in TPS is temporary. Did y'all know? Because I know I just learned this. Did y'all know that? Okay, so let's go back. In 2012, let me come back to y'all. So in 2012, let me see, my daughter was 16 years ago. So in 2010, the Haitians came over here, and they came over here following I think there was this big earthquake or something like that. Let me see. I think the Haitians came from an earthquake situation. Let me see. Yes. The Haitians came over here after a big earthquake in 2010, and it devastated the country. Syrians, they came over around 2012. because of some government and military repressions. So what I just learned, you all, is when they came over, it was only supposed to be for 18 months. Did y'all know that they was only supposed to be coming over here for 18 months? So we're not even talking about 2 years. That's like a year and a half. Like, I did not know that. I was hearing about the TPS, y'all, because these people been over here they were saying some people have been over here like 20 years. 20 years. But just speaking about the Haitians, the one who came over here following the earthquake, my daughter, because I'm like, well, yeah, my daughter's 16. She was born in 2010. That was 16 years ago. So that's a long time. So when I think about it, I'm like, okay, if it was only supposed to be 18 months and these people were able to stay for years, can you really be in your feelings about learning that, okay, now it's time for you to go? I don't know, y'all. I'm just asking questions because I just learned about this 18 months. And I'm like, okay, so that's love. If somebody telling you you can do something for 18 months and it turns into 16 years, 18 years. Y'all know what I'm saying? That's a God is good type moment. But here's the thing, you all. What I've learned also is that within the time span, there's been a good number of people who were here under the TPS who did go and just handle their business to get the permanent citizenship here. So let's talk about it. So y'all, help me brainstorm. What would be reasons for people to not do that within that time span that they were here under a temporary situation, for them to not put some things in the work to be able to be here permanently? I'm just trying to understand. Because what I'm learning is that there were a number of people who did go and do that. But then now we see that there's a large number of people who did not. And from what I'm learning, it seems like most didn't do it. Most did not do it. So I found that to be quite interesting. I don't know, but question, let's take a break. Have you stopped? Have you taken the poll? You all come on in, like the video. I got 7 likes, 45 of you in there. You guys come on in, like the poll, please. Razor said, can someone tell me why in 2026 poor countries are still poor and never improve their own country? Well, hell, I guess if you leaving and trying to go to another country where it's already built up, then I think that's what's happening, you all. I think a lot of, the poor countries, the solution has been, okay, we'll just leave and go somewhere else where it's already developed, where people have already put in the work. And United States, up until now, it's made it so easy for people to just come, because we damn near had like the open borders. It's like your front door being wide open, so anybody can kind of come in. So if you got situations like that where you can go into another country so easily and so freely, what is the incentive for you to stay home and make your home better if you can go to somebody else's home and then like embed yourself into whatever they got going on? You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that is what happened. So now these people are being told, like, okay, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. Like, that's like the messaging that they're getting. And much like last year with the Hispanic community, where they were offering $1,000 for, Christy Home. Y'all remember her, Secretary Christy Home, who was running things with Homeland Security last year before she got fired? Well, they were offering $1,000 for you to self-deport. So they had created this little fancy app. I talked about it over here on this channel. Y'all make sure you like, share, and subscribe. So we get into some things over here. So they had created this fancy little app. Like, expeditiously, they created this app. So once you got to your location, you go on the app and then you report in, basically saying, hey, I've arrived. So through the app, they're able to confirm that, okay, yeah, you ain't on U.S. soil anymore. And they go ahead and run you your money. I guess they send you that Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, however the hell you choose to get your money, but you get $1,000. Well, with this, with the Haitians and the Syrians, they're like, yo, if y'all self-deport, we raising it. We raising it to, I think they raising it to 2,500. I think it's $2,500 that they're raising it to where if you self-deport, they will give you the $2,500. But aside, it also, in addition to a plane ticket, because with the Hispanics, they was offering plane tickets as well. So you get a plane ticket and then it's like $2,500. I think it's $2,500 or something like that. So they getting that same kind of special that the Hispanic community was offered last year. Actually better because they're getting more money. It's more money that they are being offered. It's more money that they're being offered. So right now, you all, from July 1st, come July 1st, these companies who employ illegal immigrants that are here underneath like a TPS status, they have to produce an I-9 form for their employees. And that I-9 form is kind of going to outline that worker's status to determine like, okay, if they're in what I want to say, in compliance with like being over here. So if the answer is no, then these employers have to start letting these people go. July 1st is on Wednesday. So literally, you all, coming off of this weekend, like overnight, starting like tomorrow's Monday. So that's like a start of a work week for like a lot of people. People are going to start getting their walking papers because these companies are going to be worried about losing their credentials, their business license, being able to keep their doors open, losing government funding, all of the things by not being in compliance. So they're not going to want to risk having their whole ish shut down for some people who now are considered to not be legal. Because based off of that ruling, the ruling was like, yo, like, basically, it's up to Trump, the administration. They can do what the hell. If they saying you got to go. That's basically you all what the ruling came out. It's just saying, listen, it's going off of the administration, how they want to do it. And if Trump is saying, hey, we no longer want to keep this TPS, remember you all, T stands for temporary. We no longer want to keep this going because it was supposed to only be 18 months. And now it's been many years for people. We don't want to keep this going. Like temporary is up. So if you do not have an application that's already pending, you basically got like by the end of the month to be gone, like 30 days. So by August, basically, they're looking for you to be gone. And if you're not, if ICE rolls up on you, then they're going to do all the things that we talked about last year. And ultimately, you'll wind up in one of these camps that we covered over here on this channel, and they'll have you there until they ship you off to wherever the hell they want to ship you off to in the world. Because the thing about with what we got going on right here with this administration and ICE, just because you from Colombia don't mean that when they round you up, they sending you to Colombia. This administration can send you to Zimbabwe if they choose to. You don't know a lick of the Zimbabwean language. You speaking Spanish, but they got you over there in Africa. Like, this is what can take place. So it will behoove you to go ahead and remove yourself. So therefore, you have control over where you're trying to go. You see what I'm saying? Like, the Trump administration have already made deals with other foreign countries, basically saying, hey, we'll do X, Y, and Z in exchange for you allowing for us to send illegal immigrants to your country. I repeat, the Trump administration has already put things in place with other countries that says, hey, if you do this, if you allow for us to send illegal immigrants to your country, we'll do X, Y, Z. So they have these agreements, you all, with these other countries to send foreigners. So everybody, if the ICE get a hold of you, it's not guaranteed that you're going back to Syria or you're going back to Haiti. You can be going to a whole nother country that you don't know anything about. You don't know the language. These people look nothing like you, but this is the chance that this is the risk you're taking if you're choosing to not self-deport. So that's where we are with this. Y'all, please complete the poll because I'm curious to know what your stance is on this situation. What is your stance? Do you feel like the ruling was fair? Do you feel like this ruling was fair? The former department, so you all, there was a lawsuit. How we got to the Supreme Court is that when I remember you all last November, because y'all, I remember it was around Thanksgiving. Trump had put out there that said, hey, TPS is ending for TPS is ending. And I remember in particular the Haitian community. I don't remember you all Syrians being tied to the headline, but probably Haitians was like what stood out to me because it's such a large number. It's like over 350,000 of them. And so this was like around November. And so basically it was like a 90-day warning that said by February, I think the date was like February 3rd. By February, y'all gonna have to roll up out of here. So like with many of the things that Trump do, people start running and filing suits, going to the courts to stop whatever he trying to do at the time. So what they did was there was a lawsuit that was filed, and it was saying that Christy Knowles, when she was making that decision about trying to end the TPS, they were saying she wasn't abiding by rules and guidelines centered around TPS. That's what basically the argument was. So here, let me show you all. Here it reads that the former department head of security, Christy Knowles' basis for ending the TPS was she acknowledged certain conditions in Haiti remain concerning, especially gang violence and its spillover effects, but asserted certain areas of the country were suitable to return to and that the situation would improve with a multinational gang suppression force. So Christy was like, yo, yeah, y'all got this challenges over there, but we got challenges over here. So it's nothing that y'all can't try to navigate through. Or, if this part of Haiti got it on and popping over there, then you can set up shop and be in another part of Haiti where it's not so bad. Much like what I said with how here in the US, people have pointed out, like, in particular, say Chicago, what they call that, Chirac. A lot of gang activity, a lot of bad things taking place there. But there's, many, I think I've learned that, Boston has a large number of Haitians. What I'm saying, my point is that here in the US, we got a good number of cities that's has high crime rates and things like that. But it hasn't stopped people from other countries from wanting to come over here, even though we have, pockets of places within the U.S. that's crime infested as well. So they're like, okay, just like the U.S. have crime infested locations, Haiti has crime infested locations. All of the U.S. isn't crime infested. All of Haiti isn't crime infested. So that is pretty much the argument that's been made by the Department of Homeland Security. If any of you know anything about Haiti, been over there, from there, what's your thoughts on that? Are there any places from which what you've seen? Are there any places over in Haiti to where you're like, okay, yeah, there's some spots to where, yes, people can actually go and set up shop and not really be worried about their life being on the line like that? I don't know, y'all, but y'all let me know about that because that's been the argument about that. I'm gonna show a video I found. Let me see, do I still got it up? Where they're talking about that. So y'all come on in, like the video, please. But I'm gonna show this video about just the sentiments of Haiti and what the people are saying versus the government, the Trump administration is saying. So you all come on in, please complete the poll. Fair use.
They have people in power in Haiti. They can control the country. They can't control it, and the rebel is it's a setup.
CNN spoke to residents of Brooklyn's Little Haiti, where a Supreme Court ruling which allows the Trump administration to end temporary protected status for Syrian and Haitian immigrants is hitting home. The White House is calling the Supreme Court's latest immigration ruling a, quote, tremendous win.
I don't think it's a good time for the Haitians to go back home.
As many as 350,000 Haitian immigrants could lose their work authorizations and ability to remain in the U.S. unless they become eligible for some other form of protection.
I don't do anything wrong over here. Just walking.
They're good people. They have the temporary to come to work, and now they're trying to end that and kick them back to the country.
The ruling has some Haitian immigrants and local residents worried about what's next for them and their families.
I trying to help my kids and my family.
Meanwhile, New Yorkers say the ruling could tear apart the little Haiti community in Brooklyn.
It would definitely be a big change. Most definitely.
No matter what, we're not going to give up. You have to continue to fight for the Haitian.
Maintain that it is safe.
This is the Trump administration stance.
Well, I think, like I said, Jake, this is a decision that's being made from the State Department, from myself and the president. And there's a lot of things that we look at when we take this in consideration. It's not just one factor that plays into this.
I just looked at the State Department's website, and they have a level 4 do not travel advisory for Haiti just from a few months ago, from April, and it says, quote, violent crime is rampant. The expansion of gang, organized crime, and terrorist activity has led to widespread violence. Crimes involving firearms are common. Crimes include robbery, carjacking, sexual assault, and kidnappings for ransom. That doesn't sound safe to me.
Well, that do not travel is not for Haitians. That's do not travel for the United States, because they are kidnapping or trying to kidnap individuals from the United States because they feel like their family has the money to pay the ransom.
Let me ask you, you said you're going to give them a plane ticket if they want to get out and go back to Haiti. How logistically would it happen? Because the FAA prohibits commercial flights to Port-au-Prince because of the gunfire from terrorists and gangs. Civil aviation, by the way, is also prohibited in Syria.
So we have several options for deporting individuals, because we have deportation flights where we can get into areas where maybe commercial travel can't go to. So we'd simply book them on a flight. We expect to have some pretty full flights going back to Haiti and going back to some of these countries where TPS has been eliminated. So we'll provide the travel for them. And like I said, we'll give them $2,100 roughly to go back home.
To 12th grade.
So they're like, listen, the Trump administration has said, hey, we'll pay them to leave, $2,100. What I learned about, paying people to leave is that it's cheaper. It's cheaper when they're able to pay people to leave versus absorbing the costs of rounding them up and housing them at the detention centers. I learned that last year when it came to the situation where they were really heavy going after the people from the Latin countries and things who were over here illegally. And they were like, I can't remember exactly the dollar amounts that it cost, but they were like, it's far cheaper to just pay them to leave versus having them here and detaining them until we have to put them on flights to go elsewhere. So I want to ask, what is TPS, temporary protection status? So many foreigners are over here under a TPS situation. What I have learned is that when people came over under a TPS, it was initially supposed to be for like 18 months, and it has been years. And people have gotten so comfortable to where over those years, they didn't bother to try to switch their status over to something else, to something where that was permanent, to go through those, to go through the process to get a permanent citizenship. They just didn't do it for whatever reason. A while ago, I think before it went to the Supreme Court desk to rule, I heard her reasoning was like, well, we were waiting on the government to put a systems and things in place that will automatically, I guess, do it for them and transfer their status to something permanent. She was saying that, like, as though it wasn't like they weren't trying to take on that responsibility to do it themselves. They were waiting on, she was saying many of them were waiting on the government to do that for them. So that was the explanation she gave. But as we see, that's not holding up. That's not holding up. So unless you have an application already, a pending application, you're going to be expected to leave by like the end of July. You're going to be expected to be out of here by the end of July. Right now, they're saying you can go and complete like an application with trying to stay or whatever, but it doesn't mean like it's going to get approved. I'm willing to bet that most of these applications that are where people since the ruling started to put in, they're likely not going to get approved because from my understanding, the TPS basically program is just going away. It's just going away. So if you are staying, like it's going to be underneath like asylum, like it's going to be underneath something else. It's not going to be underneath like the TPS because the Trump administration is just like trying to get rid of the TPS. Let me get into some of the comments. Have you all completed the poll? And second question, have you liked the video? I left the Democrat social said, it means go home, take all they have learned and make Haiti great again and great for the first time. They know they can't run countries. They should go to vote to let America run Haiti. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely an opportunity for the people to go back and make their country great because many of them, while they were over here, they did do, further their education. As we've said, a lot of them are in hospitality. A lot of people from the Haitian community work in construction. A lot of them work in logistics, healthcare. So these are resources and things and skills that they can definitely take back to Haiti to build it up. But again, I believe that a lot of people, they basically came to a country that was already built up. Y'all know the craziest thing? I heard this woman, have y'all seen the video? I might be able to find it where there was this woman, I guess she was Haitian, and she was claiming, maybe I'm gonna have to, Megyn Kelly went in. She was claiming that the Haitians built this country. And I had never heard that claim. I had never heard that. And when she said that, it pissed, y'all know who Megyn Kelly is? It pissed her off, and Megyn Kelly, went ham, following when she heard that woman make that statement. So I'm like, okay, that's a new one. That's a new one. And where's the logic in it? You're saying you came over here and built up our country, but though your country's not built up, like, I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Black American people built up this country. Some of y'all may not have known that fun fact, but Black American people, this country was built on the backs of Black people who were enslaved. Like, the white people know that. That's why some people be like, well, why can't the Black people, all the Black people be sent somewhere? Goddamn, it ain't nowhere to send us. This is goddamn home. We built this city. Y'all know that song? We built this city. Like, listen, we built this ish. So they already goddamn know that, like, this is home. We are the original people. Baby, you're going to learn over here. We are the original people. So we built this ish. So for that Haitian woman to be talking about, we built this bitch, what? Okay, since y'all into the building industry, you can go to Haiti and do what you said you did over here. That's what I'm just saying. Like, if you did all that over here, that means that you can go over there and repeat that. Or that means that should have already been done over there before you came over here. It's not making sense. Who leaves their home to go build somebody else's home? That's like your house is a mess where you live at, but you go across the street to your neighbor house and get on your hands and knees and start scrubbing and fixing ish and painting and putting groceries in the refrigerator and the cabinets. But then across the street at your house, you ain't got ish popping off. You got roaches, you got rats. The walls dirty, the floor's dirty, ain't no food in the refrigerator. But across the street, you done went over there and gave them all the things. Y'all see how illogical that is? That shit don't even make sense. That don't even make sense. So I see why that white woman cussed that Black woman. Megyn went ham. Y'all know they get a pass in a way that we don't get. Megyn went ham on that woman, y'all. But I'm saying this is the craziness. It's the delusion. It's the delusion. So if you're saying that your skills is on par like that, that is more reason for you to be able to expeditiously leave here and go back home. Because you saying what you done for somebody else. But you don't value your own home where your people at who you left behind to go back and to do that for them and to help them. But you're going to do it for some strangers, some people who don't share the same bloodline as you, some people who many people who don't look like you, but your skills are on point like that. See, that's what I'm talking about. Them delusional moments, and I've been seeing a lot of delusional moments since Trump has been in the White House, and he's been trying to regulate and get people up out of here who aren't here legally. I've just been hearing a lot of people talking out the side of their neck, and the main people who be here talking out the side of their neck be the ones waving their flags for their country. So how are you over here in the U.S. waving your flag for your country, representing hard, y'all? Like, y'all know how you go to the game, how people representing at the FIFA games, at the basketball game. Y'all know how people represent wearing their jerseys. That's how people be representing here when they're from another country. How you representing harder in the U.S. and fighting to stay in the U.S. than you are for your own country? Because if your love for your country is on 1,000 like that, why is it that you kicking and screaming about the idea of going back there to live there? Like, make it make sense. I'm trying to understand. Y'all, I be goddamn trying to understand. I do not claim to have the answers, but if I got goddamn questions, I'm going to log on to one of these goddamn YouTube channels I have, because I have multiple, and I'm going to ask these damn questions, because it doesn't make sense to me. How the freak do you rep your country so hard in another country, and then when the people of that country say, okay, well, it's time for you to go home, you kicking and screaming and talking crazy about how you done built up this and that, but you love your country so much? Or the American people, or the black people, or foundational black American people, FBA, if some of y'all have heard that term and don't know what that means, that stands for foundational black American people. So we are the people to where our ancestors, we go back at least about 5 generations where our ancestors were here. We're not people who came from Africa. Like, our ancestors are here. Our ancestors were the ones who built this country. Like, we built it. How do people who ain't from here hollering what the hell they built louder than the people who were here who built it? It's ancestors. I don't even see FBA people screaming from the rooftops, we built it, shit, like the people who didn't build it. Y'all see what I'm saying? Make that shit make sense. Because how you repping harder than the damn, like, y'all, that's what I'm talking about. But I think the way that the people from here move, FBA in particular, what is does not need to be said. Anybody with goddamn common sense, a half of a brain, knows already who built this country. So you don't have to go around saying it. You know what I'm saying? The ones who going around talking about what they did, those are the ones who didn't do shit. The ones who are going around talking about what they didn't do a goddamn thing, because the ones who did the shit are on their Beyonce. Y'all see how she sit back and don't say a motherfucking thing? Because she's like, yo, I don't have to tell y'all shit because y'all know the real deal, Holyfield. That's how FBA people move. So we don't have to be trying to remind or tell people what we did, because if you got any type of knowledge of this country, of the United States of America, you know the fuck how this country was built. It was built on the backs of foundational black American people for the free. We didn't even get paid for this shit. Like, we built it for free. So what do you mean you built this country? Miss me with that. What you did was you came over to this country and benefited from the things that the foundational black American people put into place. See, there's a difference between you coming over and participating after the work was done. All these other groups of people came over after the fact. They didn't come over here during the fight. They came over post the fight, post MLK, post Malcolm X. They came over there after the fact, after civil rights and all of those things. Because once we did all the work, us quote unquote lazy people, because y'all ain't gonna act like y'all ain't heard that narrative. Black American people, black people being lazy. How the fuck you lazy and you done built up a whole fucking country? We don't know what hell, we wasn't allowed to be lazy. You get your ass, we couldn't be lazy if we wanted to be lazy. That's why we work so hard today. It's embedded in us. It is embedded in us. That's all we know is to work. We had no other choice but to work. So what our ancestors experienced in that great work ethic, that is what's in our bloodline. So anybody over here talking crazy, talking about the hell they built and they first generation, second generation American. Like, stop it. I say, stop it. And this is why a lot of the FBA people ain't trying to be on the picket line with you, because you lying. Because prior to President Trump getting in this house and trying to regulate and change things, many of people that have the same skin color as me would make it very clear that we weren't the same. Meaning, one thing a non-FBA person that's black gonna do is let you know that they not Black American. Up until recent time. Oh, they was quick to say, I'm from Nigeria, I'm from Liberia, I'm Caribbean. Like, they were quick to separate themselves from foundational Black American people, the people who are the offsprings from slaves. They were quick to separate. We call it delineate. So now foundational Black American people are like, yo, keep that energy. You never wanted to align with us anyway, because many of these people who are here say in their households, they were taught to stay away from Black American people, foundational Black. They were taught to stay away from us. They were taught we was this, we were that, you know, we all we know is crime. Like, we weren't good people. We weren't good people. But though these non-good people are the ones who built this country that afforded you and your people to be able to come over here. But we're not the good people. Okay, well, take your ass home then. So now it's time for you to go home, and you want to kick and scream. You want to kick and scream. But though while you were here, you weren't showing respect to the people who laid everything out for you to even be able to be over here and to benefit the way that you have benefit. Again, the T in TPS stands for temporary. The T in TPS stands for temporary. So now that we got that out the damn way, let's move on. But before we do that, please like the video and complete the poll. Let me check the poll. Let me see what y'all talking about. Let me see how y'all feeling about what's going on. Because the question is, do you agree with the Supreme Court 6-3 ruling on TPS? 45% say yes, 36% say no, and 19% say, I don't know, I'm not sure, sheep. So it's a lot of information that's coming out. It's definitely, I definitely foresee there being an impact here. Moving on to the next segment, let's talk about discrimination. Do y'all feel that this ruling, that there was any race or anything that played a part in this? Do y'all feel that there was race that played a part in this? So the Haitians plaintiffs argue that Trump's comments about Haiti during his campaign demonstrated racial animosity. The majority's rejection. Justice Alito wrote that none of the cited statements by either the president or the secretary was overtly racial, and in substance, all expressed policy views that could rest on race-neutral justifications. Kagan's dissent is the moment that's generating the most. So Kagan, let me show y'all what was said. So this is basically the sentiments that I'm about to show y'all as far as like what the Supreme Court, like their thought process was. Alito's rationale was, he wrote that he cited expressed policy views that could rest on race-neutral justifications, arguing that opposition on TPS and a desire for tighter immigration restrictions can stem from economic or security reasons rather than race. He also noted the administration's TPS terminations were not strictly limited to non-white nations. The dissents, Justice Elena Kagan, joined by the court's two other liberal justices, forcefully pushed back. Kagan noted that Alito and the majority declined to even print Trump's remarks in their opinion because they were so repellent and racially infected. Trump's remark in question. To counter the majority's decision, Kagan explicitly placed into the court record several of Trump's comments about Haiti and its people. The statements she cited included Trump's calling Haiti a shithole country and claiming Haitians probably have AIDS, repeating a conspiracy theory that Haitian migrants were eating pets in Ohio, and stating that immigration from places like Haiti is poisoning the blood of the nation. So, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that Trump's reasoning for wanting to end TPS was centered around race? Or do you think that it was rooted in just resources? Him no longer wanting people from foreign countries to come and absorb the resources here in the U.S. What do you all think? Let me know in the comments your thoughts about that. Aaron says, look at Haiti. He didn't lie. Being offended isn't Haiti's biggest problem. The thread. So my father resold cars 50 years ago, and GMC would not finance for resale. It was the Chevrolet brand. He attained citizenship in 72 from Cambodia in 62. So again, what's the reason as to why many people were here and didn't go through the process to change their status from a temporary situation to a permanent situation? Because right now, TPS is gone. So if you are going to try to stay over here, you're going to probably have to try to do it through like a green card situation where you have to have a sponsor and asylum. But it's a good chance that even as you await and learn your status on if you're able to be here or not, you may have to leave and go somewhere else while you await to learn your status. You may have to go someplace else. Let me see.
Embracing for the law.
So I got another video to show you because I want to talk about how this could impact the workforce here in the U.S. So a lot of people are just embracing for just almost like overnight shortage in the workforce. So what I got to thinking about, I got to wondering if whether or not this would actually have an impact on the workforce in a positive way for a lot of people who have been out of work for a long time, who, you know, I see all across the internet where people say it's been hard to find jobs and employment and things like that. So I can't help but to wonder if now with the removal of hundreds of thousands of people, if now there will be job availability, open positions for people who have been out of work for a lengthy amount of time. I personally feel like American citizens should be the priority when it comes to resources and the workforce. I'm going to also circle back around, but I want to talk to you all about the requirements to even be able to be in here, because one of the requirements to even be able to stay over here for those who are here under the TPS is like if you can't be dependent on government assistance. I'm wondering, I haven't deep dived into this part yet, but I'm wondering what percentage of people who are here under the TPS benefit from government assistance. Because one of the requirements is that you cannot be a part of the government assistance program to remain over here. You have to be fully self-sufficient. So while you marinate on that, please like the video, please complete the poll, and let's get into this video I found on the immigration crackdown.
Status after this week's Supreme Court ruling.
Many now turning to Congress for help. Look what's Byron Tolleson live in Little Haiti tonight with new reaction. Byron.
Well, it was a very emotional group of people talking about this issue, telling Congress it's time to step in and do something to help these families. Community leaders, immigration advocates, and Haitian families coming together in Little Haiti, right outside a notable Haitian monument, in light of the Supreme Court's decision clearing the way for thousands of Haitian immigrants to potentially be deported. This woman, who came from Haiti to the U.S. in 2005, among many devastated.
It is matter of life or death.
This fight is not over.
the nation's highest court ruling in favor of the Trump administration, allowing temporary protected status, or TPS, to be taken away from some 350,000 Haitians. That goes into effect July 1st. Advocates have argued that Haiti remains much too dangerous with widespread violence. The U.S. State Department is still maintaining a do not travel advisory for the country.
This is really a sad day. This is a day that did not have to be.
Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniela Levine Cava among those urging Congress to step in and help.
They are our working men and women. They are our business owners. They create jobs. They are fueling our basic industries.
One business owner arguing that the impact will be widespread.
A lot of business owners, they come to me. Their employees are mostly immigrants, right, with TPS. So if they don't have immigrants working in their job, over 90% of their workforce will no longer be there.
On Fox News, a Department of Homeland Security official saying that TPS should have been eliminated long ago.
The T in TPS stands for temporary, yet many of these designations go back decades. We have designations from 1998 for Hurricane Mitch that we're still trying to get rid of.
This decision also affects 6,000 Syrian TPS holders. We're live in Little Haiti. Byron Tollefson.
So again, the T stands for temporary. Many people have been over here for many, many years. Hey, what's up, Tim? Many people have been over here for many, many years, and the TPS program was supposed to be for 18 months. So again, I want to talk about just the impact of just the job market. What kind of impact will it have? You all let me know. Do you think that it will have a negative impact on just the economy when it comes to jobs and people fulfilling jobs in the industry, such as like the healthcare, hospitality, construction, logistics? Do you feel like we're going to take a hit where we're not going to have enough workers in these industries? Or do you feel like, well, you know, there are a lot of people who aren't employed right now. Do you feel like many of those people who are not employed will be able to transition into many of these positions that are going to become available? Because that's what I hope to see take place, because there's so many people who've been talking about they haven't been able to work, and they may have to transition industries and go do something else if vacancies, job availability job positions become available in other industries. Because my thoughts is if positions become available in these industries like this, they're going to have to make it easier for people to get into these positions, meaning cut back on some of like the requirements, the prerequisites maybe to do some of these positions. Or maybe the government may have to create programs and things like that provides funding for people to learn how to do these jobs for these fields that will be impacted. So that was my thoughts when I learned about the ruling with, how we'll be able to navigate through this. But again, the T in TPS does stand for temporary. So hold on, let me check something. Please come on and like the video, like, share, and subscribe. I wanted to try to just get some more detailed information centered around the job market. So I just typed in some information to just get some facts centered around the job market. It's what I've seen. Nearly 190,000 Haitian TPS holders were employed in early 2025. So let me share my screen. This is some data that I found pertaining to Haitians and the workforce. Nearly 190,000 Haitian TPS holders were employed in 2025, according to analysis by FWD.US. They contributed an estimated of $5.9 billion to the U.S. economy and paid $1.6 billion in federal payroll, state, and local taxes. More than 113,000 Haitian TPS holders work in Florida alone. So to me, what this is saying is that there are a lot of skilled Haitians that are here in the U.S. these skills can certainly, most definitely be taken back to Haiti. Now that you've spent 10 plus years, many people spent 10, 15 plus years here. There's no reason why you can't go back to your country and take these skills that you have, and then the money. Let's think about just the money that was made here. You still have that money. US dollar go definitely longer. Things are more cheaper in other countries than the US. So you have the money that you made here. There's no excuse why the people as a collective, when you're dealing with numbers like this, why these people cannot return to their country and put their minds together, their resources together to build Haiti up. What is the excuse? Because clearly looking at these numbers, it's not the skill set, and it's not the finances. It's just a matter of people who do not want to go and build their country. People who are more comfortable with being in a country that was already built up, and then they were just able to insert themselves in it and start building for them and their families. Because these people did not build, no matter what you hear. Foreigners did not build the US. They came over here, got a job like everybody else, but they did not build this country. We're not going to do that. So which industries gets the highest hit? Let's see. It says healthcare. The Migration Policy Institute found that Haitian immigrants held over 103,000 healthcare jobs in 2021. And National Nurses United warned the decision will further strain our healthcare workforce and worsen the nurse staffing crisis. So as it pertains to healthcare, what I also learned, earlier on, like right after the ruling, is that there are going to be many in the healthcare industry, nurses and things like that are going to be forced to work like mandatory overtime. Nurses already get paid a pretty good salary, but now they're going to be offered 2 and 3 times their hourly rate just to continue to work, because they're going to need them to be putting in 12 to 16 hour work shifts consecutively. So it's really, really going to impact those of us who are here, U.S. citizens. It will impact, but at the same time, this will also give American citizens the opportunity to make more money, because they will no longer be working along the side of foreigners or illegal immigrants. Because even though you're here on a TPS, you're not legally here. That was just some temporary situation. So based off of the ruling, and now we're kind of at a point to where you're about to be in more of like an illegal type situation after that little like 30-day window. Because what's happening is that after the Supreme Court did their ruling, the ruling has to trickle down to the federal level. So then once it trickles down like to the federal level, which would be like this week, that's when from the federal level, they start putting in these processes and things in place that says, okay, and outlining when people need to leave. So that's where the feds, where the federal government come in with kind of regulating that, of saying, okay, these people need to leave by this time, that time, or whatever. So we're dealing with roughly about a 30 days by like the end of July. I say basically by August, ICE is going to be outside. They're going to be outside heavy, because by that point, that was 30 plus days of notice where people who are here under the TPS status have learned that they have to leave if they do not have an application that's pending a decision for them to be able to stay. Because what I learned is that if you file an application and you go into like this pending status and they're waiting to give you a decision, then you don't have to leave. But I feel like they very well may work pretty quickly through the applications, because if the Trump administration is already implementing this, saying, hey, we want to get rid of TPS, because basically he's saying, listen, we don't want you all over here anymore. I feel like they are going to quickly go through those applications, and many of them, probably the vast majority of them, are going to be denied. I feel like the vast majority of them are going to be denied. And what's going to not be work in the favor of these people who are just now completing their applications is the Trump administration is going to question, why are you just now trying to complete this application to stay over here permanently? Why didn't you complete it before? So, yeah, y'all, this is layered. Which industries get hit the hardest? So we talked about healthcare. Food, meat processing. Executives within some of the country's biggest poultry companies warned last year that ending TPS for Haitians will cost the industry 20% of its workforce in Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, in the Virginia region that's home to a high concentration of chicken plants. Haitians with TPS also work in beef processing plants in Colorado. Again, you all, this is going to instantly create jobs. This is going to create jobs. I'm wondering, so this is let me see, I would say September. By September, it's going to be interesting to see what the job reports are going to be as far as what hiring. It's going to be interesting because I anticipate these numbers going up a great bit starting August. Because these workers and things, they have to be like, they got to be basically come July 1st. Many of these people are going to get getting their walking papers saying, hey, we can't keep you on anymore. Because it's almost like there's like this 30-day window to where the people have to be removed. So July 1st is pretty much that deadline. That's when the end date, that day arrives to where people who are working under the TPS, that status no longer is in compliance with in the working industry here in the U.S. Which industries get the hardest? Get hit the hardest. Broadly, Dominguez noted TPS holders work in hospitality, food service, education, construction, healthcare, and every industry. So basically, TPS workers are in every industry. Y'all, like, how can the job market not look up for people who are unemployed? I have memories when I was a young adult. I'm 45 now. I have memories as a young adult in like my early 20s where, like, I live in Georgia. I'm from California. I moved to Georgia in 96 when I was in high school. I have memories of when I was like 20 where people would say, if somebody wasn't working, it was just because they just didn't want to work. It had absolutely nothing to do with not being able to get a job. How many of you all living here in the United States remember those times where in like the early 2000s, I'm reflecting back on, based on my age, early 2000s, where it was very easy to get a job. It was very easy to get a job. I feel like with this, we're going to go back. We're likely to kind of go back to that place because look how many jobs are suddenly going to be become available. Juan Washington said, I remember. Y'all remember that? Like, it was just like, it's so different versus now. Y'all remember even during the pandemic? It was hard for these people to get people to work because everybody was able to be at home and collect the stimulus check. Y'all remember that? Where you would go through the fast food restaurants and then you couldn't even go through the drive-through. No, you had to go through the drive-through because the dining area was closed because they did not have enough workers to man the drive-through and the dining room. So there would be a lot of restaurants that would have that part closed off. So you only could go through the drive-through because they could not get workers. Because people are on some, well, hell, why am I going to go work for you when I can sit at home and collect the stimulus, just collect a check? Y'all remember that? Can y'all imagine times going back to a place to where you're seeing all these places just hiring? God, we're hiring, and just you quickly on Monday, you apply for a job. By Friday, you got you an offer letter. By that next following Monday, like you starting. Can y'all imagine those times been here again? Because this era I'm talking about, like with the early 2000s, I remember back then getting laid off from a job. Y'all, I got a new job before my unemployment kicked in because there was like a waiting period for the unemployment to kick in. I literally applied for a job, but like that Monday, did the interview by Tuesday or Wednesday. Child, I had the offer by Friday. This is how fast things was moving. So if we can go back to those times, I don't see how we will not. with numbers like this. Y'all, let me go over these numbers again, just with what they're saying. Healthcare. They're saying there's over, the Haitian immigrants hold over 103 healthcare jobs in 2021. The food and meat processing industry, 20% of its workforce consists of Haitians in Maryland. How many of you in here live in Maryland, Delaware, Virginia region, DC, that area? Like, there are suddenly going to be a lot of jobs becoming available. Hospitality. Miami, they heavy. I was just in Florida during spring break. I was in like Orlando, staying at a resort, and it was heavy Haitian workers at the resort. Heavy. So I can definitely see how Florida is going to get impacted. And right now, that's where the biggest Haitian population is. So this means jobs. This means jobs. This is jobs. The specific timeline employers and workers are facing. So let's get into it. According to attorney Alejandra, I don't even know that last name, in 32 days, everyone from Haiti and Syria who held employment authorization through TPS will most likely lose that authorization. Remember, I told y'all by July 1st, they got to tell these people, hey, we're going to have to let you go because they have to be in compliance. These workers have to be in compliance. So they have to let these workers know, hey, I have to let you go because in 32 days, the expectation is that you're no longer on U.S. soil. I can't get caught up in that. I have to keep my business going. I have a family to take care of. I have other workers to keep employed. I cannot get caught up in that. That is going to be the messaging. Y'all, these people are going to start getting that messaging starting tomorrow, because the message got to be delivered no later than by the 1st, because that's where the expiration comes in as far as when the government will start to request for the I-9 form. Let's continue on. The employer compliance side, legal guidelines is blunt. Continuing to employ an individual after their work authorization has expired violates federal law, and employers may face civil penalties for knowingly continuing to employ unauthorized workers. Even good faith mistakes can expose an employer to liability. Employers are being told to review the I-9 records to identify employees who presented Haitian or Syrian TPS-based EADs and plan for re-verifications. That's what I'm talking about, y'all. That's where that July 1st deadline comes. There's going to be it's going to be a lot of people crying tomorrow when they get this message from their employer. There's going to be a lot of people crying because the message is going to get delivered this coming week. It will be delivered. It will be delivered. A real world local example. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, he's a Republican, directly tied this to local economic harm. Quote, as a result of today's ruling, the over 10,000 Haitians who have been living in Ohio legally through TPS will now be here illegally and will be subject to immediate deportation. This also means that while these Haitians were working and contributing to our community and economy yesterday, today is now illegal to employ them. Literally, I told y'all overnight, these people's lives are being changed. They went from being here in a legal way through the TPS to now come July 1st, it's going to be now deemed as illegal. Basically, they got 32 days. So they still going to be good through July, because the expectation now is you are getting your affairs in order, maybe selling off some things. Because I thought about the people who got homes, cars. You're going to have to be trying to sell that stuff. But here's the thing, from what I've been seeing with even with the housing market, like these houses aren't, I guess it depends on what region you live in. Real estate isn't really moving like that, where these houses are just selling like that. So I don't know, they might have to do a short sale, really take a hit with, the amount that they sell their home for, just to kind of get it off their hands. Because last year, a lot of the Hispanic people in the Hispanic community kind of were doing that. They were selling their things and like things that they had to get the cash so they would have on hand, when they get ready to leave. A local community leader put it in very concrete terms. If Haitians stop working or leave Springfield, local factories, grocery stores, and the broader economy will feel it immediately. The Walmart, Kroger, all of them will be impacted. I have both of those chains where I live, Walmart and Kroger. NPR found employers themselves saying this isn't political spin. A hiring manager named Jamie McGregor said plainly, the fact of the matter is, without the Haitian associates that we had trouble filling these positions. Again, there are a lot of people talking about, I can't find a job. It's going to be a new day. Kel said, if I was Haitian, I would just run. If I was Haitian, yeah, I would just go ahead and leave, self-deport, collect that $2,100 check, collect the $2,100 check, and then go ahead and use that wherever you're going to go to try to make a new life. But to me, to get caught up, we'll get into what's the ramifications if ICE catches up with you. We'll get into that. We will get into that. Please, have you completed the poll? Let me, let's see what happens if ICE come into play. Have you completed the poll? Let's see where we're at. So with the poll, let's see. Do you agree with the Supreme Court's ruling 6-3 on the TPS? 48% yes, 31% no, 21% not sure. I don't know. Yeah, we definitely gonna, what do you call it? Growing pains. We definitely gonna be, we're gonna be feeling it for sure. I definitely believe that, but I feel like if it means that more people are gonna have opportunities to get jobs and get these hours in, then to me, it's just like we're gonna have to take the good with the bad. Okay, so let's look. I asked, I'm on Claude. I'm like, yo, what happens if ICE catches up with you? Like, what happens if these people do not leave and ICE come into play? Good question. The encounter ICE doesn't need a TPS folder to do anything to be encountered. It can happen at a workplace during a routine check-in, a traffic stop, or via targeted enforcement. Once someone's TPS-based work authorization or removal protection lapses, if they have no other lawful immigration status, they become deported. Detention. If ICE takes someone into custody, that typically leads to immigration detention while their case is processed. This is separate from criminal court. It's a civil immigration proceeding. 3, notice of appeal, NTA. This is the formal document that starts removal, deportation proceedings in immigration court. It lists the government's allegations and the legal basis. Let's get to immigration court, number 4. The person goes before an immigration judge. This is where any relief options will be raised. This is the critical window. Lawyers are telling former TPS holders, do not wait for ICE to knock. I repeat, do not wait for ICE to knock. Proactive planning is always better than responding to an arrest or notice to appear, because some relief, like cancellation of removal, require years of presence that may already be accumulating, while asylums has a 1-year filing deadline that may be closer than people think. Number 5, possible relief. The what can still save you part. Losing TPS doesn't automatically mean someone has 0 options, depending on a person's situation. Family-based immigration through a qualifying relative who is a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident. Humanitarian protection if they were a victim of crimes, trafficking, or abuse, or employment-related options may apply. A family petition can take months to prepare, and file asylum has a 1-year deadline, and cancellation of removal require years of accumulated presence, which is why attorneys keep stressing timing. Again, this is why it's important. People who are over here all these years, Why didn't you start handling your business? Why weren't you handling your business? Because all these things that I just read off, it takes time. It takes time. One myth busting note for the live. Advocates are specifically warning people not to panic into bad decisions. One community leader said directly, there are people creating fear, and I told them, don't go get your money out the bank. That is not helping. Also worth telling viewers, legal experts noted losing the court case doesn't mean everybody loses everything on day one. There's typically a wind down window. In this case, roughly 32 days from the ruling before authorization lapses, not an instant mass arrest. Not instant, we got them 32 days, child. Like, that's like quick, in a blink of an eye, that time is going to be here. Y'all, listen, they saying it ain't no overnight. Literally, when somebody tell you you need to be out somewhere and you got 32 days, that's like literally like overnight. You need to get the hell on, because you got a lot of things to try to put into place for you to leave a country. Like, and so y'all, another layer to this is think about those people who are here over TPS and they had children here, who that rose into the birthright citizenship ruling, because many of these people over here created families. They got married, they had children. Some of them are probably pregnant, hoping that they can go into labor before the 32 days. They hoping they water break between now and 30 days, so their child will at least be able to be a U.S. citizen, because according to the way, with the 14th Amendment right now, it's like if you're born on U.S. soil, you're automatically American citizen. That's how a lot of people have been interpreting that. That's how people have been interpreting it. So that's why it's kind of under review for the Supreme Court, because Trump, what they're saying is that was originally created with the slaves in mind, when slaves were forced to come over here. So therefore, while they were over in the U.S. and when they started having babies, then those children would be automatic U.S. citizens. That was what that meant, what that was put in place for. So a lot of people have been coming over here from other countries, having these babies like, yo, my baby automatically, based off of the 14th Amendment, my baby automatically a U.S. citizen. But that's not what it was created for. So it's like over time, it's like this new meaning came about. A new meaning came about as it pertains to the 14th Amendment. So we're still waiting on the sidelines for that. And they're saying probably maybe as early as tomorrow we may have a ruling, but I feel like it's going to be by Thursday, because the 4th of July is Saturday. Most companies, like places, are observing, like, how businesses close for the holidays, so they'll observe it like that Friday the 3rd. So I feel like probably at the latest Thursday, but I don't think they'll probably play it that close. So we can very well get a ruling tomorrow. I will definitely, y'all make sure you got your notification bell on, because I will come back and talk about it. I did talk about all this like last year when it got raised up to the Supreme Court. Y'all, I don't really know what way it can go. Y'all let me know in the chat, like, how y'all think that ruling is going to go as it pertains to birthright, because there's so many layers to that, as to if they come back and say, hey, if you are not a U.S. citizen, then the child you give birth to, citizenship will be based on wherever you're from, the mother. Do y'all think that the Supreme Court is going to come back and say, like, okay, no, just because your child going forward, because I don't know if it's even going to be any type of retro type point, or if it's going to be a going forward situation. What do y'all think? Because that's going to be a big one. I think this one is ruling is going to be up there with the whole abortion. Y'all remember that whole big thing centered around the abortion, and the Supreme Court ruling that it no longer was like basically the free right of like the woman, that it had to be filtered down to the state. And then within the state, the people within that state, I guess you kind of had to vote on, I guess the citizens of that state will vote on what they want to do pertaining to that law. I don't know if it was able to be voted on, or if that the state Senate, the state government can make the decision. I know Georgia is a state where you can't get an abortion after 6 weeks. You can't get an abortion after 6 weeks. And then you have some states, I believe maybe Alabama, where you can't even get it at all or something. It's like these tight windows. And then you got some states, I think maybe Ohio, where you can just, you got really, a wild, kind of like the way it was just business as usual as far as with the length of time you had to be able to make the decision. So basically the Supreme Court said, we're kicking it back to the state level. You all decide on how you want to have it go. We're not going to have like all 50 states follow this same law pertaining to abortion. I feel like this birthright situation, it's going to be huge, like on that type of level, because that was big. Like y'all, I was folks hooping and hollering over the idea of not being able to get an abortion no more. So I feel like it's going to be like on that type of level, probably even more extreme. The people it's probably going to even be more extreme even with the birthright, because there are so many people who are over here who aren't here legally, but they have children who were born here. So it's a lot of first generation people over here in the U.S. and their parents aren't legal, didn't come over legally, but they were born in the U.S. So they've been operating, moving about as, a legal U.S. citizen, because based off of how the law has been interpreted, they're a U.S. citizen. But the Supreme Court, they're reviewing it to determine if whether or not that is truly the way it's going to continue to be interpreted, or if that's a true interpretation. Did people have it twisted and they just misunderstood? Child, it's a lot. It is a lot. But that ruling is it's coming. So if you got that layered on top of the TPS, it's a lot. It is a lot. So I get it. It is a lot. But again, that's why it's important to handle your business. Do things the legal way. Be proactive versus reactive. This is definitely a lesson on being proactive. Getting in front of things, not waiting for the situation to arise. Because right now, a lot of experts are telling people who have TPS status, like, yo, go secure an immigration attorney. That costs money. So I bet you the immigration attorneys right now, their phones are ringing off the hook, because it's like so many people they're panicking and they're needing services, and they're going to want these lawyers to just work these miracles for them. But these lawyers, it's not their call. The best they'll be able to do is say, hey, you need a quick, fast, and hurry, complete this application. And then you got to sit back and hope that it returns with your request for a change in status to be approved versus being denied. Timothy says, I think TPS has softened the blow for the 14th Amendment for the children of slaves. It will pass. Y'all think it'll pass? I don't know. Like, I feel like, because any other country you go to, from my understanding, if I go to Paris and I'm a U.S. citizen and I'm pregnant and I have my baby over there, my baby's citizenship is going to be connected to mine. My baby is going to be a U.S. citizen because I'm a U.S. citizen. I don't believe that any other country we go to, any of us may go to, if we give birth over there, our child is automatically a citizen of that country. I believe when I researched it last year, what I learned is that you would have to apply for, like, you complete the application, apply for citizenship for your baby to be able to be considered a citizen over in that particular country where you gave birth at, because automatically the baby's citizenship is going to be tied to the mother's citizenship. To me, you all, that makes sense. Just say Wynn said it's not. Doesn't that make sense, y'all? Think about how we move around and we go on vacation. So let's just say, you go on vacation and you travel to Canada. Let's just use Canada. And you're over in Canada, and moms, you give birth over there. You're a U.S. citizen. You return back home to the U.S., to America, and then they tell you you're trying to handle business, get your child enrolled in school, whatever. And then they tell you, no, your baby isn't a U.S. citizen because you gave birth over in Canada. According to this birth certificate, the baby wasn't born here. And you're like, but I was just on vacation. My water broke over there. I just gave birth over there, but I'm a U.S. citizen. And then they hit you with, but so what? But your baby was born over there. So your baby's citizenship is, your baby's a Canadian. It's not American. So like, wouldn't you be in your feelings and pissed off that because you went on vacation, you ended up giving birth over where you're at, and then you return back home and you run into all these problems with handling your business with your kids and your family because they're like, yo, your baby ain't like you. They on some they not like us type time. They not like us. They trying to tell you your baby is not like us. And you like, what the? So to me, from a common sense standpoint, it makes sense for your baby's citizenship to follow the citizenship of the mother, because the mother can be anywhere at any time in the world. It doesn't make sense for the baby's citizenship to only be tied to the place where the baby was born. Now, what makes sense is if, say, that mother wanted the baby to have dual citizenship, and then the mother said, okay, I'm in Canada, I gave birth, I'm US, my baby's automatically American citizenship. But yo, I mean, I like the sound of my baby having citizenship over here in Canada. So let me holler at Canada government and see if there's a little application I can fill out to see if my baby can get Canadian citizenship. Because technically my baby was born over here in Canada. See, that's a different conversation. I'm not mad at you if you want your child to have dual citizenship, but the primary citizenship should be connected to the mother. Am I making sense? Or are y'all on some, no, hell no, the baby shouldn't be a U.S. citizen. That baby was born in Canada, so that baby is Canadian. They not like us. That baby is Canadian. Because you can't have it both ways. So this is what I'm saying when it comes to people coming to our country. What kind of sense is that making of saying, okay, the mama, she from Mexico, but she gave birth to her baby in the U.S., so her baby don't have citizen in Mexico. Her baby is a U.S. citizen. Now, that shit don't make sense. First, primary, that baby should be a Mexican, a citizen of Mexico. Secondary would be, okay, say the baby applied, the mother or the parents of the child applied for citizenship where that baby was born on some, well, my baby was born over here. Can we apply for like a dual citizenship since we gave birth over here? I know I'm from Mexico, but my baby was born over here. It should be that type of conversation. Not automatically the baby is a U.S. citizen. This is what I'm talking about. So I don't understand why it's a problem for the U.S., the American people. We can't handle rules, regulations, and requirements. We just got to be the catch-all for every damn body. Why we always got to be the catch-all? They say we got to contribute. The last I left off, I think our debt was at 37. When I was covering politics heavy over here, our debt was at like $37 trillion. Us American people, we didn't accumulate that by ourselves. That we accumulated that with the help of people who aren't even from here, who have come over here. And guess what? These same people who are now being asked to leave expeditiously, they ain't taking that debt with them. That debt is still being left behind. That's why Trump, they're saying, hey, in order for you to for us to even consider your little application, we better not see that you are relying on any type of public assistance, because that is an automatic denial. You cannot be over here relying on public assistance. Guess what? We all on our Tasha K. We ain't got it. We do not have it. We can no longer afford to take care of everybody. We just can't. We got so many people. We got these college students coming out of college. They saying they can't find no job. We got mama and daddy who losing their jobs, getting laid off. We got people who online talking about, hell, I got all the degrees in the world. I still can't even get hired at a Starbucks, at a Walmart, at a Target. I can't buy a job. I've been unemployed for X amount of years. Like these are the stories of a lot of the American people. That's crazy. That's crazy how for us to have that be the situation with the employment, while at the same time being allowing for just any and everybody to just come over here willy-nilly and get a job. Like, I believe in taking care. I believe in taking care of home. Just say, Wednesday, I sent you an email. Okay, I'll check it out. I believe in taking care of home first. I believe in taking care of home first. And taking care of home first to me means that We got to make sure that the American people are good, meaning we got to make sure that they have jobs, that they're able to put food on the table, that they have housing. Y'all think about all of the public housing that would come available. How many of y'all know people who've been on Section 8 for years, or even from your own experience when you were going through it, you needed Section 8 and you couldn't qualify for it? I remember knowing somebody who was in need of Section 8. By the time their child was 8 years old, they got the phone call saying that your name, your turn has come up. And they are American citizen, found FBA. It wasn't available. So by the time it came up, she had, gotten married, her life was, she was doing better in life. But at the time where she needed it, it was not available. That's crazy. But in the next same breath, we're talking about, yeah, you can come. We on our Oprah's favorite things at Christmas time. You can come over. You can come over. You can come over. Y'all, we ain't got it like that to be doing that. And it's not about being mean or racist. It's about, listen, we ain't got it. It's time for people to take those skills that they acquired here in the U.S. and take it back home and to do something with it. Look at it like how you send your child off or you go off to college and you learn a skill or trade. The program ain't meant for you or your child to stay in it forever, right? It's meant for you to go there, get what you need so you can take it back and utilize it and build. It's the same thing. So the way that people should be viewing this is that, hey, I came over here. It was a nice, cool little run. I was able to make my money. I was able to get educated. I was able to build relationship, connects. Now I can go back home and implement some of those things, those skills. Still maybe reach out to some of those people in the U.S. that I made relationships with on, these ideas and plans. Maybe they want to invest in some things that we can have going over in Haiti. So to me, it's almost like a glass half full, half empty type situation. How are you viewing it? How are you viewing it? Because to me, this is an opportunity for these skilled, talented, smart people to be able to go back home and make their country great. How do you leave your country and never look back and have no interest in going back to want to build it and make it great? You just want to just stay wherever. Again, that's like I said, you going to college, you getting all the skills and the education, but you not coming back out in the real world and implementing it and making the money and utilizing it so your family can succeed and benefit from all of those skills and the education and the relationships you build. It's an investment. Your family invested in you for you to go out there and learn those things so you can come back and teach the people and help the people. That is what you do, right? That's what it's about. So when I look at Haiti, I view it from the same lens. You left, you went and got all the things you needed to be great, to be able to come back to make your country great. So if we got all these great people who are from Haiti, Syria, or wherever here in the U.S., what is the excuse for these great people to not be able to come together to go back to their countries and to make their country great? Make it make sense. It's given that you don't want to. It's given that you just don't want to do that. Just say when. Looking for your email. Now let's see if I can. I'm on a different laptop, so you'll have to, if you sent me an email, send it to the myname.lastname@gmail.com. Send it to that one because that's the one I have up. But listen, child, thousands, Desi said, thousands of Haitian nursing degrees are fraudulent. Google it. Lord, child, Lord Jesus. All right, well, let's get into that. Let's get into that. Well, hell, to be able to then be getting into some fraudulent activity, you can't be a plumb idiot, right, to even do fraudulent behavior. So you got some type of skill. A lot of times when it comes to people doing wrongful things is how they're utilizing their abilities. Because how many of you know some of the biggest criminals, they're very smart people. It just comes down to how are you utilizing? Are you using it in a positive way or a negative way? Just like the people who be slinging D, they be good with numbers, good with math. They know how to count the money. They know it all. Again, it's how you're utilizing those skills. Are you utilizing it in a positive way or a negative way? So if there are people, Haitians, whatever, and they partake in fraudulent activity, okay, it's time for you to do good. It is time for you to do good. So listen, I mean, it was a nice run, but it's time for people to return home and to build up their homeland. And I'm sure the people back in Haiti would really like that, because I'm pretty sure many of them have felt a way about people leaving and never looking back. People leaving and never looking back. Many people feel a way. Think about, like I said, you invested in your children, your loved ones, whoever, to go out and get said skills and to learn things. And then imagine them never looking back, never reaching back to lend a helping hand. That's basically what's happening. You just left and never looked back. You just left and never looked back. So I would imagine there are people there who are kind of feeling a certain way about the idea that a lot of people did that. They left and never looked back. And because of that, I would imagine, now that I think about it, you all, when they do go back, that's probably something that many of them are probably going to have to deal with when they engage with people there. Because think about it. Think about some of these people who left X amount of years ago, and then there was people who had stayed. Or think about some of those people who left and promised to come back, and they didn't. And the people there know you're only here because you got forced out. Do you think them people are going to be welcoming those people back with open arms? Do you think that many of the people who's forced to have to go back home are going to go back with an attitude of, hey, I want to help, I want to build, or are they going to have some type of attitude about being there? It's going to be very interesting. I don't think it's going to necessarily be a kumbaya for a lot of people, y'all. I think the people there are just going to know, like, you only here because you got forced out. And then the people who got forced out going to be in their feelings because they back home, because not that they wanted to, but they got forced to be there. So it's going to show up in their energy and how they moving and how they dealing with people. So that's going to create friction right there. But that's what happens when you forget where you came from. That's the importance of not forgetting where you came from. When we talk about like paying it forward, to leave somewhere and just never look back and to try to help out. And to me, it seems like that's basically what has happened. So many people have left their countries and they just didn't look back. And they don't want to go back because a lot of them already know that, oh, I don't want to see those people again. I don't want to have to give explanation as to why I never even came back to even visit, why I never even sent money, why I didn't help with a building fund. Okay, just say when. I just got your text message. Let me see what you said. Let me see. All right. What are third world countries' deportations? Why is Trump using them? Okay. So let's get into this article I just got sent. So this is CFR.org. The Trump administration is pursuing agreements with third countries to potentially accept U.S. deportees amid ongoing efforts to crack down on unauthorized immigration. So I told y'all that the Trump administration is partnering with other countries to take in illegal immigrants, because once ICE get a hold of you, they do not have to send you where you want to go. They do not have to send you home. They can send you wherever they want to, wherever they want to send you. I saw that last year when they were rounding up people from the Latino community. They were just sending them wherever. So let's get into what this article is saying. Since taking office, President Trump has significantly escalated the use of third country deportations in an unprecedented expansion of a rarely used provision in the U.S. immigration law. So far, nearly a dozen countries have agreed to accept U.S. deportees, often in exchange for financial compensation under diplomatic pressure. However, critics warn that such deportation violate international human rights standards and place vulnerable migrants at risk. So I told you, like, it's always going to be best, even these attorneys, to handle it yourself. Don't let ICE be the ones that have to roll up on you and tell you it's time to leave, because at that point they can control where you're going. Right now, these people got 32 days to control where they are going to go, whether it be back to Haiti, if they want to then go to Mexico, Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, Paris, wherever. The Trump administration is like, we'll give you $2,100 in your pocket and get you a plane ticket. What are the third country deportations? Y'all, please come on in, like the video, share, subscribe, and complete the poll. We got 365 of you who've completed the poll. I will check that again shortly. So if you have not completed the poll, please complete the poll. Third country, third country deportation refers to a section of the Immigration and Nationality Act, the INA, that allows the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, to deport migrants to countries other than the country of origin. During immigration proceedings, judges will designate a country where the migrant is supposed to be deported, usually their country of origin. If removal to the designated country is impracticable, inadvisable, or impossible, the INA authorizes DHS to remove a non-citizen to a third country, which may or may not be where they hold citizenship or nationality. Under the Trump administration, nearly a dozen countries that include Costa Rica, El Salvador, Eswatini, Mexico, Panama, Rwanda, South Sudan, and Uganda have reportedly agreed to receive deportees with no existing ties to their nation. So these countries are like, yo, we're okay with you sending illegal immigrants from your country to our country. Okay, we're fine if they don't speak our language, if they don't look like us, if they're not from us. For some money, we can make it do what it do, baby. Well, listen, $1 make you holler. They on some how much you paying? How much you paying? So while some deportees have been confirmed to be detained in foreign prison facilities, the U.S. government lacks information on the location and condition of many others. Which third countries are accepting U.S. deportees? So you all see this little map that's showing the countries that are accepting U.S. deportees. Listen, Rwanda, look, they said, listen, we got space for 250 of them. Rwanda agrees to accept 250 migrants with plans to integrate them into society. That's Rwanda. They're like, send them, because listen, they ain't going over there for free. Trump, they getting cut a check. Yet Trump's use of third country deportation marks significant departure from that of previous administrations. This is not a strategy that the U.S. government has used to any significant extent. Yale University's Christina Rodriguez told The New Yorker, especially to the extent where they're removing people to war zones like South Sudan Sudan, or to prisons, as they did with El Salvador. Y'all remember that El Salvador, that prison? I covered that heavy on this channel too. The name was that channel, CCOT. I think it was called CCOT. Child, that was, let's see, we got all up into CCOT. That is not a place where you want to go. Are third country deportations legal? The U.S. law allows third country deportations. The specific legality of doing so without adequate safeguards or asylum protections in place is currently being challenged in U.S. courts. In April, U.S. District Court Judge Brian E. Murphy barred the federal government from sending migrants to third countries without first assessing potential claims under the UN Convention Against Torture. He ruled that failing to give migrants a meaningful opportunity to raise fears of deportation violated their constitutional due process rights. Despite the ruling, the Trump administration attempted in May to deport 8 migrants of various nationalities to South Sudan, a country with which they had no connection. Plaintiffs argued that the deportations exposed them to the risk of torture or serious harm in violation of both U.S. and international law. Murphy subsequently ruled that the deportation flight to South Sudan violated his previous order, and he ordered the flight to be diverted to Djibouti. Yet in June, the Supreme Court permitted Department of Homeland Security, DHS, to resume third country deportations, including to South Sudan, while litigation on the matter continues. So the Supreme Court said, listen, Trump, if y'all want to send these people to a third country, meaning a country that the person did not was not born in or is not a citizen of, then you have the legal right to do it, child. That's what that just said. Why is the Trump administration using third country deportations? Good question. Another good question. Have you completed the poll and have you liked the video? Let's continue on. Fair use. The deportations are part of the Trump administration's mass deportation campaign. Officials believe the approach will discourage migration to the U.S. and encourage voluntary self-deportation. The administration has also argued that third country deportations are necessary because some countries refuse to accept their citizens back after they've been given an official deportation order by the U.S. For example, Cambodia, Eritrea, Guinea, and Sierra Leone did this during the Trump's first term. They were like, yeah, we know they're from here, but no, you can't send them back. Yet in some cases, third countries can repatriate migrants to their home countries, despite U.S. claims that origin countries refuse to accept their citizens back. In several cases, host countries have accepted migrants in exchange for compensation. Now, they ain't accepting these people for free. It's coming with a check. It's coming with a check. So host countries have accepted migrants in exchange for compensations or due to political pressure. In February, Panama agreed to temporarily host some 300 migrants after the Trump administration threatened to retake control of the Panama Canal. Lord Jesus, they said, if you don't take these goddamn people fast, we finna cut your water off, literally. The next month, the U.S. paid El Salvador about $6 million to host 238 alleged members of the Venezuela's Tren de Agua gang for a year at the country's notorious mega prison. That's that CCOT prison I talked about. I covered last year on my channel. A New York Times investigation found little evidence of their alleged membership. In September, a federal appeals court blocked the Trump administration from using the 1798 Alien Enemies Act to deport people alleged to be Venezuelan gang members from the U.S., ruling that it had not met the necessary legal standards for invoking wartime powers. While compensation arguments for Eswatini and South Sudan remains unclear, reports suggest that these countries are leveraging the agreements to try and secure diplomatic concessions from the U.S. Listen, they're trying to get the bag. These people are like, yeah, you can come on over here, give me a few dollars. Give me a few dollars. Listen, countries are hurting. Y'all think people in the U.S. aren't the only ones that's hurting. People around the globe are hurting financially, economically. People are going through it. Why y'all think the birth rates are down everywhere? They're not just down in the U.S. People like, listen, we can't even afford to breathe because literally, y'all, it costs to live. It costs to live. So far, the Trump administration has reportedly approached at least 58 governments about accepting deportees. Quote, whether it is tariff concessions or in the case of African countries, many of them are under the threat of being placed under a travel ban or their diplomats will be prevented from coming from the U.S. These are the stakes that are all being used to get these agreements. Trump like, listen, this is what's on the table. So if you choose to decline, then we're gonna make it hard for you. I don't even know how to say that name. A fellow senior at the Migration Policy Institute told Political. Is the U.S. the only democracy that uses third country deportations? Y'all like, who else using third country deportations? Other democracies, particularly in Europe and Oceania, have pursued similar arrangements, largely as a deterrent to unauthorized migration. So basically, it's like they're doing this to deter people from coming to their countries, overstaying being there illegally. It's like, yo, if we catch up with you, we're not sending you home. We're going to send you wherever we want. We're going to send you someplace else. So it'll behoove you to just not come over here. So this is why they're doing it. The United Kingdom, UK, for example, sought such agreement with Rwanda in 2022, though it never went into effect due to legal challenges and public oppositions. The UK is reportedly still engaged in ongoing discussions with other countries about establishing so-called return hubs for unauthorized migrants. Australia has used offshore processing and transfers more extensively as part of its deterrent policy. However, some experts say that the U.S. stands out as one of the first democracies to operationalize third country removals at a scale as part of a broader mass deportation strategy. The EU, the European Union, has also implemented third country agreements, though typically for recent border crossers rather than long-standing unauthorized residents. In 2016, the bloc struck a landmark deal with Turkey, allowing it to return migrants who had arrived in Greece via irregular means to Turkey, therefore treating Turkey as a safe third country. In return, the EU pledged to provide Ankara with significant financial aid and accelerate visa liberalization for Turkish nationals traveling to Europe. The deal has long drawn criticism from human rights groups and legal experts concerned about the deal's compliance with international law and the protections afforded to asylum seekers. Child, basically, you just go on and remove yourself because you don't want to be in Africa speaking Spanish and you them trying to learn the Zimbabwean language. Like, that's just not what you want. That's just not what you want. That's just not what you want. So to me, it just makes more sense for you to just remove yourself versus someone coming in and removing you. What do you think? Like, in this situation, do you think it makes more sense for people to just self-deport? Or are you like on some catch me if you can? You think they should just stick around until somebody catches up with them? So let me check the status of our poll. Do you agree with the Supreme Court's decision for 3-1 ruling on TPS? 51% say yes. 29% say no. And 20% says not sure. Let me see. Tim sent a link. Let me see. What do you? I sent the link. Life in Haiti. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Let me check. Be right back. Let me check something. Child, I got an email address for all these different accounts. I told you I got multiple YouTube accounts. Welcome. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Chic. My channel is Chic Speaks on it. Also have another channel that is Chic Speaks, where I talk about all other things outside of politics. This channel I talk about political things and more of your serious things over here on this channel. But welcome. Thank you for joining tonight. Let me try to access another email to see, because Tim, where did you send where was the link sent to try to see whatever it was that was sent on Haiti? Democrats is a man where they can deport. I don't see Tim's email just yet, but so some of you may have wondered, let me share something else with you. Let's see. I'm trying to see something. Give me a minute. Okay, so out of curiosity, we want to know, like, what makes, what are some requirements for TPS people to be able to stay in the U.S.? So that's a question I asked. What are the requirements? Because you have to meet some requirements to be able to stay. Maintaining TPS requires a person to remain in compliance with immigration regulations and filing deadlines. Failure to comply, even in minor ways, such as missing a deadline, may terminate TPS. Specifically, maintains valid status under TPS, which requires a re-registration and full compliance with all requirements. Does not engage in disqualifying behavior such as a certain criminal activity or immigration law. Complies with application procedures, including providing accurate and complete information to immigration services. And last point is practical steps attorneys are pushing right now is renew your EAD immediately if eligible. If TPS has been extended by a court order, the work permit itself may still show an expiration date. And the file the I-281 TPS application and formal I-765 EAD application as soon as they're eligible to review. Keep copies of all TPS documents, including I-821 approval notice and the EAD card and any court order language extending TPS. So make sure that you are in compliance with all of these things, because another thing I've learned is that if you have a felony, that's an automatic denial. And if you have more than one misdemeanor, that's going to be a denial as well as if you are receiving government assistance. So you can't be on a government assistance, you can't have a felony, and you can't have 2 or more misdemeanors. You can't have it. Listen, child, listen. I'm just relaying the information. So do your homework, be diligent, handle your business, because it's not much time left. So on that note, thank you all so much for joining me tonight on this live. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you know when I go live. I am definitely on the lookout for the ruling, to learn the ruling on the birthright. That's the ruling on the 14th Amendment. And if it will, I don't know if it would be a matter of it being overturned or reworded, I don't know, or a new interpretation of its meaning. I don't know, but that's going to be a whole nother live. So that's probably going to be the next thing that I may come back out and do a live on. So if you do see that ruling has come out, just be on the lookout for me to come back and do another live to kind of get into that, because like I said, I think that one's going to be a big one. That one's going to be a big one that people are going to be discussing at the barbecue for the 4th of July. So on that note, I like to say, take care of yourself and one another. Heavy on the taking care of yourself, because so many of us are taking care of everybody and neglecting ourselves and nobody looking after us. So make sure you take care of yourself. Like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next broadcast. And thank you, awesome moderators, whoever was here. Just say when. I don't know if you was holding it down by yourself. Hopefully it wasn't too bad in here, but I will catch you all in the next broadcast.